Hello everyone, and I hope you're doing well. Today we're kicking off 2025 with one of my favourite decks to play, and I've been cooking with this for a long time in Master Duel. Now this deck is a blind second 8-axis deck with 60 cards, so it's Grass, it's Danger, it's Kaiju, it's Luna, it's Horus, it's pretty much everything you can think of. And without further ado, let's show off what I've been cooking. So here is the deck list. I promise you this isn't just a random pile of cards that I threw together, although it very well looks like it. This deck does have some cohesion. The goal of this deck is to simplify the game state pretty much. We want to get to a point where they have Kaiju, we have Luna, and we can keep bouncing them back, or alternatively, we get them to a point where we can break the board and kill them on the second turn, depending on what our hand is. But this game can go grindy, and that's one of my favourite ways to play Yu-Gi-Oh! This grind game of what do I draw, can this out? You know, if you like that, you're going to love this deck. Now, I will say this deck is very expensive, but most of it is staples, and there are some things you can change, and I will point them out as we go along. So going through the card by card, obviously we're going second every time, so we have a bunch of going second hand traps like Max C. Obviously, we don't have an Ash, we don't really care about Max C. If we're going to be special summoning a lot, we're going to kill them. Then we're moving on to Luna, one of my favourite cards of all time, second only to the jars. Such a fun card. When you normal summon it, you can search out another Luna, and quick effect, you can target a monster your opponent controls, bounce them both to hand unless they send a monster with the same name to the graveyard from the deck. So basically, if you summon a Kaiju, they're almost never going to have one in deck. So you're going to bounce them both back. Of course, we have the Perulia and the Fubalos, the newly added cards that everyone's coping that they'll ban Max C for. I really don't think they'll do it as much as I want them to. Yeah, these cards are insane, especially in this deck. You don't really care. If you get to +6, you're already winning. So you don't care about the shuffle back. We have a lone Fenrir. Fenrir is just nice at basing out interaction. I wish we had 3, like the TCG. And next we have the Kaiju lineup. We have 2 Dogoran, 2 Gameciel, 2 Godala. Now, one of the reasons we run the Dogoran over some of the other ones with higher attack is it's level 8, and it lets us go into our 8-axis stuff, all our rank 8s. But if you don't have this, feel free to replace it with maybe a 3rd copy of Gameciel and Godala, or possibly one of the other Kaijus. They'll do, they're just not optimal, but they'll save you some UR dust. Next we have Danger Bigfoot and Danger Thunderbird, 2 of each. I like running 2, mainly because you never really want to see 3, and you never really want to see 2 either. So having both of these are really nice, especially some level 8s, although I will say that you're often just discarding them for the King Sark. Next we have Gizmek. It's a rank 8 deck, you're going to have Gizmek, special summon from graveyard, special summon from hand. It's just too free, especially when you have effects that discard, like Forbidden Droplet, King Sark. All these can just, this is just a free discard, so it's really, really nice, especially with the trade-in. 2 Alpha Master Beast, really nice removal. For the longest time, I didn't realize that this targets itself, so if you're having problems with Dragoon, you can use the Alpha effect on Dragoon. Even though it targets itself. Next, we have the Horus package, 3 Imseti, Dumatef, Happy, Queb, bless you. Yeah, I mean, you need all of these. Maybe you add the ultra rare one, but it's not as generic. We have an Nibiru just to make our Maxis and Molcharmies a bit more threatening. We have some board breakers now. Dark Hole, Rageki, Harpy's Feather Duster, Heavy Storm. These are things you can fire at the start of your turn and potentially grab off thrust. Trade-in, loads of rank 8s as you've seen, so it's free draws. Interrupted Kaiju Slumber. This is the reason I was tempted to run 3 of each, but I felt like I needed to see more gas in my hand, you know what I mean? Pot of Desires for the gas. Grass looks greener is a really good card, but not really in this deck. The only things you want to send to the graveyard are Gizmek and maybe Interrupted Kaiju Slumber and some of the Horus names. That's it. It's mainly just here to bait Ash, so you can actually get some of your stuff done, like your Interrupted Kaiju Slumbers, because that can be ashed, and Imseti as well. And then we've got 2 Lightning Storm, 1 Triple Tactics Talent, 2 Thrust, 3 King Sark, 3 Droplet, since so many of our sends are free, and Infinite Impermanence as the last slot. Just a nice hand trap that can also kind of help us out going first as well. I will say save this until turn 2. Don't bother trying to stop their combo, because you don't care how far they get in their combo if you're sitting on 2 Kaijus in hand and a Luna, you know? So save that. The extra deck, There's some things that could potentially change here, but let's start off. We have our Draglubion package, so Draglubion plus Hope Harbinger and Numeron Dragon. This lets you go into Numeron Dragon for 9,000 damage, so it's a nice OTK, but it does play really badly into any negate, so be warned. We have Giant Trainer, so this requires 3 level 8s, lets you detach one to draw one, and if it's a monster, inflicts 800. You can't battle that turn. This is more an inclusion from TCG for time, but sometimes going first, it is nice to get those extra draws. Lancelot is a direct attacker to get into Zeus. We have a second Hope Harbinger as well, because if we are forced to go first, Hope Harbinger plus another card that's coming up is not too bad of a board. We have Xanathon the Sky Prison. This does backfire sometimes as it stops us special summoning our horror stuff, but against some matchups, it's just lovely to have. Galaxy Ice Photon Lord is the other rank 8 we'll go into when going first. It's a monster negate, and so a monster negate and a spell negate is not too shabby. We also have Dingirsu, send 1, protect from destruction. Also could potentially go into this going first if you're going against like Tenpai, but then you won't really know until the turn switches. Draglubion we've been over. Paint Gainer you can just overlay onto a dark rank 8 with 2 materials for an extra material for Zeus. Similarly with 7 Sins you can overlay. I would cut 7 Sins and potentially a second Typhon, and you have 2 flex spots here. Potentially the Giant Trainer as well. Of course we have Typhon and SP as well, because every deck has to run SP pretty much. Anyway, that's the deck list. Sorry for rambling on, there are a lot of cards in here, and let's get into some games. So going into game number 1, this shows why playing a going second deck in this meta is super useful with all that Tenpai running about. Oh yeah, we're going against Tenpai and we have chosen second. Not only can we go second, we've got all the tools we need to go second. And Tenpai, it's embarrassing, isn't it? That is a really unfortunate first turn for Tenpai, and a really unfortunate draw for them as well, because we drew the Kaiju Slumber. We'll use the Kaiju Slumber to get rid of the Fadra that was sitting there. Summon a Gameciel to his side and Dog around to our side. Let's go King Sark. Let's start pitching our hand. Let's get rid of the Gizmek. That is the freest one. Send the Imseti, special summon the Imseti. King Sark will go again. Get rid of the Gadala. We don't need it anymore. Send a Happy. Happy will special summon, then we'll go again with the Raigeki. Dumatef appears in the graveyard, and now she's gone. She's now under a Photon Lord. See, we could have probably gone for the kill, but I'm generally very scared of that back row, so we go for Photon Lord first in case there's a sneaky Nibiru back there, and a Hope Harbinger just in case there's a Sangan Kaiman. So let's go to battle. Let's swing over the Gameciel with Photon Lord and directly with the Hope Harbinger. We do still have the Gizmek in graveyard, so we might as well use its effect to special summon itself and then get a bit of extra damage in. 2,450. There's a lot of monsters with 50 attack in this deck, and it's just a bit slightly annoying, I guess. Moving on to his turn after setting a droplet. He unfortunately did have a set droplet as well, sending Driver and Bell, negating our 2 pieces of interaction. He uses Lightning Storm for attack position monsters, and we might as well try and bait a bit of interaction here, but no. Button's still glowing, so I still click it. We do still have a droplet though, and we're going to go for the Gizmek on resolution just to make sure we have a monster on the field, just in case he has something in hand. And thank God we did, because there's a Pydra, and here's our Forbidden Droplet sending the Gizmek, and that should be it. I mean, if he doesn't concede, yeah, there we go. If he doesn't concede, we just summon all our horror stuff again on this this tiny little monster. So this is one of the reasons you should consider playing Blind Second 8 Axis. Going into game number 2, we're going against another top tier threat, which is Yubel. Once again, we're going second, which is perfect. We've got a decent opening hand, but let's see what our opponent puts up. He starts with the Piri Res map, and honestly, I expected a Royal Magical Library, but no, it's Dark Beckoning Beast. He's going to use the Nightmare Throne in his hand to destroy a Yubel. Yubel will then summon Yubel Terra Incarnate, shuffling both of those back for a Phantom of Yubel, normal summoning the Dark Beckoning Beast, add the opening of the Spirit Gates. Do you remember when they limited that to 2 for some reason? Anyway, opening the Spirit Gates will add another Dark Beckoning Beast. Dark Beckoning Beast will activate, normal summoning a Dark Beckoning Beast. How many times can I say Dark Beckoning Beast in one sentence? Sprite Elf will come out from the Dark Beckoning Beasts. And then opening the Spirit Gates will activate, pitching the Spirit of Yubel, and special summoning the Spirit of Yubel. Spirit of Yubel will activate, set the Nightmare Pain, flip open the Nightmare Pain, and activate it to destroy the Spirit of Yubel, and add the Grave Squirmer. What a name for a card. Throne will activate, and then Spirit of Yubel will activate as well. So Spirit of Yubel will special summon the Yubel from deck. Nightmare Throne will add Yubel Terra Incarnate. Terra Incarnate will special summon using the Phantom and the Terra Incarnate to go into Yama. Then he'll go for the Sharvara, popping the Yubel, special summon the Sharvara. Yubel will activate, bring back the Terra Incarnate, and then using the 2 Unchained monsters to go into the doggy, the blue doggy, woof woof. And then here comes Sharvara, setting the Escape of the Unchained. He's then going to just go for a Royal 1-for-1. I mean, why not at this point? Get another Samsara de Lotus. And he's going to shuffle those 2 back, the Yubel and the Yubel Terra Incarnates go for Phantom of Yubel. Sprite Elf will bring out the Dark Beckoning Beast. The Grey Squirmer will banish itself to special summon the Spirit of Yubel again, linking 4 into Appaloosa. Whoa, what a relief that was when we saw Appaloosa. That is a card that is not very good against this deck. Drawing Maxi 1 turn too late is hilarious. Let's start off with the Raigeki, and honestly, it has nothing to stop this. Like, it just goes through. I mean, of course, he has the armor that will activate, and the doggy, but we still cleared the Appo. That's still long gone. Let's see what he does from here as the Samsara de Lotus back to hand, and then special summons the doggy again. But we have a Dark Hole to get rid of the doggy. I mean, poor dog. He just got sucked into the vortex. He is absolutely gone. And now we can go for King Sark, and it's pretty much rest is history. Let's pitch Gizmek, which really secures it. We're guaranteed 4 bodies here. Let's go pitch Gizmek for the Imseti, Change of Heart for the Happy, and Maxi for the Dumatef. Let's special summon them out, and let's just go straight to battle phase, and he realizes he is dead. All you need is a few good board clears and 1 King Sark. Beautiful deck. Screw all that setup. Going into game number 3, we're going against Tearlaments, and this will show the power of the new Mole Charmies. We had to show at least 1 game where they popped off, and here it is. So going into his turn, we are going second. Standby phase will pop the Perulia, as everyone should. Everyone should be doing that in standby or draw phase. He's going to start with Pressure Planet, effect to search for Fenrir. Fenrir will special summon Fenrir effect to search Tearlaments Kashtira. That's when you start to think, maybe it's Tearlaments, and now you know it's Tearlaments. Tearlaments Grief will special summon out the Shiren and send the Shiren to grave, which will then fuse using itself and Tearlaments Kashtira to send back to deck and summon the Tearlaments Kitkalos. Kitkalos will add Rhino Heart to hand, and then from there he'll normal summon the Rhino Heart, giving us another draw, another summon from hand, pitching the Tearlaments Kashtira to mill the top 2. Luckily he didn't get anything. He's going to go Kitkalos, target itself, bring out the Tearlaments Kashtira, sending the Kitkalos to the graveyard. Kitkalos will go Chain Link 1, and Tearlaments Kashtira will go Chain Link 2, sending more cards from the top of his deck than you can ever imagine. For some reason he chose us to mill 3. I mean, we'd appreciate it because Gizmek got milled, but unfortunately in the 5 he milled, he did get a Rhino Heart and a Beast, so he will draw a card and then special summon the Rhino Heart. And then he's going to go Destrudo. This guy is really popping off. Thankfully this is all from hand, so we get another draw from that. Using the Destrudo and the Tearlaments Kashtira to go into Baron, which is a pretty scary card, but at this point, with how much work they've gone through and how many draws they've given me, I think that's fine. They're going to use the 2/4s to go into Time Thief Redoer, and that is his end board. That's not too bad. In end phase, let's go Gizmek, try and bait the Baron, but he does have the Medora, so he's going to shuffle that back, and a couple of cards of his as well. We kind of wanted the Medora to be activated so that we don't have it when King Sark starts popping off. So moving on to our turn, we've got so many cards in our hand. Unfortunately, he's going to steal the top one, but who cares? It's a Gameciel. Let's start with the trade-in, try and bait some interaction here, but he lets it go through, which is worrying. We're then going to go Imseti, pitch the Dumatef, and he lets that go through as well. This is really bizarre. Let's special summon Alpha Master Beast and properly force it out. Fortunately, he does actually use the negate here. He still has the Fenrir live, but that's pretty much it, and he can like banish Redoer if he wants. We'll go Triple Tactics Thrust, and then he's going to, well, as previously mentioned, banish the Redoer just to get everything in graveyard again, I guess. We're going to grab Change of Heart. Change of Heart will target Fenris, so now he can't use it against us. And the funniest thing is, well, I'll show you in a minute. Let's go Danger Bigfoot first. So we pitch King Sark, go for Danger Bigfoot. Let's draw one more. Now we can actually use Fenrir to search Fenrir. Oh, the good old days of Kashtira. Now we can go King Sark, and it's pretty much game set match here. Let's start pitching cards to send them all to graveyard. We've got the Imseti in there already. Pitch the Gizmek for the Happy, and let's just go battle. Banish that face down, and game over. I mean, Mole Charmies are powerful, but Maxi is even more powerful. So just remember that before you start slandering Mole Charmies. That Maxi in my hand right there, that would have done the same thing, but better. So yeah. Going into game number 4, I usually only do 3 games, but I honestly couldn't resist, including this WhiteWood Runick match, where I just drew the nuts. So let's see his setup going first. So he's going to start with the Flashing Fire to special summon the Hugin. He's then going to go Hugin effect, pitching the WhiteWood's Trap to go for Runick Fountain. WhiteWood Trap will activate to set it back, and then he sets one more and then activates the fountain and passes back over to us. Luckily, we have some very, very nice draws there. Second trade-in coming off the top. Let's start with the Dark Hole to get rid of the Hugin, just in case neither of these are Runick spells or all the cards in hand. Let's start with the Harpy's Head Duster then, and he goes to the Woes of the White Woods, which is fine. Honestly, he just special summons a WhiteWood guy, but that does indicate he does not have any more Runick spells to go around to protect, which is perfect for us, and we've still got fuel. He adds the WhiteWood spell, just sitting on a lone Sylvie here. We'll go Triple Tactics Thrust, grab Triple Tactics Talent. Triple Tactics Talent will draw 2 cards, because of course we need more gas. There's the King Suck, perfect. Let's go trade in, pitch the Quebenisef. There goes the Ash, perfect. We're in the money now. We've pretty much just won the game because he ashed a trade-in, which is probably one of the best cards to ash. We'll trade in again, pitching the Imseti, drawing into a Danger Bigfoot and a Heavy Storm. The Heavy Storm isn't doing much for us. Let's start special summoning after we activate the King Sark. Let's go Danger Bigfoot. Either result is good for us here. Danger Bigfoot discard itself so I can pop a face-up card, and then we can go King Sark, get the Doom Attack. There we go. Got the right one, and that's it. Like, I feel a bit bad for that Runick player there, but we just had the perfect hand. We drew so many cards. So that's it for the games. Let me do a quick overview of how I think the deck performs in today's meta on Master Duel. Now, I think this is a very solid deck. The best part about this deck is if you want to pick it up and play it for yourself, it is very flexible. There are so many cards in here that you could take out and replace with other going second cards, or even going first cards. There are so many things you can do with this deck, and I think that's great. Secondly, I think it's one of the best decks at breaking any established board. You have the Kaijus and the board wipes, and the fact that you can actually return the Kaijus back, so you can Kaiju multiple times. I think it's one of the best ways to clear any board that is set in front of you. Now, the cons, or the biggest con, is that it is a going second deck, and the problem with those is that you have to go second, and that's not too bad, except you have to wait. That is the biggest problem with this deck. There's not many hand traps that interrupt your opponent, so they're almost always going to be going full combo, and that sometimes takes some time, even if when it passes to you, it only takes 30 seconds to win. So keep that in mind if you do pick up this deck. Anyway, that being said, if you made it this far in the video, please do feel free to hit subscribe. New Yu-Gi-Oh videos each week. And as always, happy dueling.